Hi, my name is Ngozi Okure. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today, we'll be continuing with our wealth creation series, adapted from my book Wealth Code, and we'll be looking at part 7. And the theme is read good books. That is to say that a person who wants to create wealth should endeavor to read good books, especially financial books. Now, books are treasures of inestimable value. Just the same way a man goes to the bank to withdraw money, we open books to withdraw ideas. And one single idea gotten from a book and is acted upon can give rise to a multinational company. That is why it is said that ideas rule the world. Even the Almighty God, in his wisdom, said that good success in this life is tied or related to what we do with a book. Now, someone says that he that loves to read good books has everything within his reach. And that is very true. Because a man who loves to read books will be able to learn everything he needs to earn all the money he needs to earn. This is because our earning is tied to our learning, or the other way, our learning is tied to our earning, and our earning is tied to our learning. So when I look at the level of poverty in our land, you look at so many people who are stranded, is a pointer to the fact that our lack of a reading culture is part of the problem of poverty, is part of the root cause of poverty in this land. I remember the first time I went for a prison visitation in Caracas, Venezuela, where I lived with my family. I was so surprised to see the number of young people who were behind bars. Why were they there? Most of them ended up there because they were looking for money in the wrong way. But that shouldn't be. Now, I read a story of I watched the video of a very young Nigerian man that inspired me so much. His name is Steve Courage. He's the owner or the founder of Success TV. And he told his story, an amazing story. He said he fell in love with reading books in his early teens. Now, having read so many books, he read biographies, he read stories, he read, literally sat at the feet of self-made millionaires. And he learned so many things. 2 things in particular. He said he learned that it takes time before people succeed in business. He learned that most successful people today failed severally before they succeeded in business, okay? So that let him know, that made him to realize that failure is the mother of success, okay? So when he started his business and began to fail, he didn't give up. He hung in there. Why? Because he had already learned from self-made millionaires that you don't become an instant. In fact, that success cannot be microwaved. So it took him about 7 years before he began to succeed. And today he's a mega success. Today he's a multi-millionaire. Now compare his story with the story of his friend who was entertainment driven. This one didn't have time to read books. So by the time he started his own business, 2 years after he started business, he gave up. He thought that the business didn't have any prospect. He gave up, and then he started another business. And after about 2 or 3 years again, he gave up. And you know what his conclusion was? He said that he must have a spiritual problem. He gave up. Now, did he have any problem? No. The problem with him was that he didn't sit at the feet of the self-made millionaires to learn how to become a millionaire. Now, it's always amazing, it's always surprising that a young person wants to become a hairdresser. She goes for 2 or 3 years and goes to learn from an experienced hairdresser. That is the same with a young person who wants to learn cloth making. She goes to learn from an experienced dressmaker. It's like that in almost all the trades. Plumbers with coach or to teach young plumbers on how to become, in the art, in the trade. But when it comes to how to become millionaires, nobody seems to know, or nobody, people don't seem to know that just the same way somebody will sit at the feet of a dressmaker to learn how to make dresses, that you also need to sit at the feet of self-made millionaires to learn how to become a millionaire. I think it was Grant Cardone that said that the main reason why so many people are not successful, why so many people are not successful with their finances, or the reason why so many people are not millionaires today, is because it has never even entered into their mind that they could be, and they have not sat down to learn how to be one. Now, having been a keen lover of books and having read books over the years, I'm of the opinion that when a man says he doesn't love to read books, it's because he has not found the kind of book he would love to read. Now, there is nothing I used to find so frustrating as, opening books to read, and it will be filled with so many facts. It will be filled with, very strong and very difficult grammar that you need to consult dictionaries before you can understand what the author is saying. So now with that, when I became an author, I tried to put that into consideration. So in my books, I write my books in such a way that they are padded with a lot of beautiful, relevant stories. People love stories. And I wrote my books in such a way that they are reader-friendly, okay? You read it, even people who are, much younger can read it and understand. I remember one lady, one Mrs. Emodi, she told me that for years her husband wanted to make her read books, but she was not interested until she got my books. So if you're a young person, you're listening to me, and you have never been keen on reading books, don't worry, I've got you covered, okay? So I want to talk about a couple of my books that I've written on finances, and which I know that are very beautiful, easy to read, reader-friendly, and embellished with a lot of, in fact, garnished is the word, garnished with a lot of beautiful stories. That's what Tony told me, when I went to her office to give her some of my books. She said, I love reading this book because it has a lot of beautiful stories. Yes, beautiful, relevant stories. Now, my first book, the first book I wrote on finances is titled The Gold in My Garden. Now, I wrote this book purposely to let people know, especially young people, know that money is not scarce. Now, if you do a little research, a little Google research, you will find out that about $5 trillion are in circulation in the world every day. That is to say that about $5 trillion pass from hand to hand on a daily basis. Now, you can't say that anything that is available in trillions is scarce. Okay, so I wrote The Gold in My Garden to let people know that there are laws that control in whose hands money flows to. So it's such a beautiful book. I remember one woman contacted me, sent me a mail recently, said I read that book and it was loaded. Okay, so you will love it. Now, the second book I wrote on wealth creation is Wealth Code. I wrote this book because I know that habits are everything. I use Wealth Code to explain the habits that should be in place, habits that should be foundational to wealth creation, those habits that you have to be in place before you can create wealth, okay? And it's such a beautiful and reader-friendly book. One lady, Gloria, Ambassador Gloria read it and called me and said, this book blew my mind. Yeah, it's such a very beautiful and reader-friendly book. Now, after Wealth Code, the next book I wrote on finances is Who Says You Can't Be Rich? That's the title of the book. Who says you can't be rich? And in actual fact, nobody can say you can't be rich, because wealth is something anybody can create. Wealth is not a respecter of titles. It's not a respecter of gender. It's not a respecter of age. But wealth is a respecter of principles, okay? That's what I try to explain with the book, Who Says You Can't Be Rich? Now, the last and the final book I've written so far on wealth creation is titled The Money Revolution Book. You will love this book, The Money Revolution Book. Now, this book, I used it to explain that there is a revolution taking place in the way money is made. There's a revolution taking place world over on the way wealth is created. Because, you see, when the internet was introduced, it came with a wealth revolution. These are the days that you can stay in your country and sell your products all over the world, okay? So that is it. So I encourage you to get those books. They will do a lot of good. Also look out for other books. I remember the first time I read The Richest Man in Babylon, okay? You will love it. It's such a beautiful financial book also, and it has a lot of beautiful story in it. Okay, so look out for beautiful books on finances and read. You can't read good books on finances and be stranded financially. Okay, and implement the things you're getting from the books. Try also to read. There are beautiful financial videos, okay, that you can watch that will enhance your ability to create wealth. You can't really do what you have not learned how to do. It's just like you can't begin to drive a car if you have not learned how to drive, okay? So that's how it is also with money and wealth creation. If you don't know how to do it, it appears impossible. But once you have learned how to do it, it becomes a lot easier. I want to see you create plenty of wealth and bless your world. Okay, thank you so much for joining me in this video. Please check the description box for the link to my author's page in Amazon. Okay. Now, for those who are in Nigeria who also want to pick my books, I want you to still check the description box. The link to my website will be there. There you can buy the books. Okay, thank you so much for being a part of this video. Please remember to subscribe to my channel and please hit the notification bell so that you'll be reminded each time I